Hey everyone, it's May 9th and it's a beautiful day outside. Most of the stone fruits are starting to flower, or mostly are through flowering. I'm just going to do a tour of those trees. This is the spring satin tree. It's a hybrid between an apricot and a plum. Lots of flowers on there. You can see it lost half of its branches last year they died over the winter from last winter. I've got two little peach trees here. This one's Contender, and this one here is Frost. And then the older tree is a Herald Diamond peach. You can see the flowers just started opening up yesterday. So there's quite a few flowers. They're not all open yet, but it's going to have a lot of flowers this year. This is the Black Ice Plum. It's a very upswept tree. It's never fruited before, but it's got a lot of flowers this year. It's actually hard to see from the cherry tree behind it, but you can see, maybe you can see, there are some white flowers in the Black Ice Plum too. It's a hybrid North American Asian plum. This tree that's full of flowers is my Van cherry tree. It's over 10 years old now. It has fruited a number of times, not every year, but seems like it's gonna have a lot of fruit this year. Completely loaded in flowers. It smells great. My newest cherry tree, I had a Stella here for a couple years, but it ended up dying one winter. This was planted last year. It's a white gold cherry tree. So it's be the second year it's in the ground. It's got a couple flowers here. There's a European plum behind it, Mount Royal. 2 years ago it had a really large fruit set. Last year, no plums. This year it's got a heavy flower again, so hopefully some fruits. Toka plum, every year it's an amazing bloomer. Smells really strong, smells really good, very strongly. It's always loaded in flowers and pollinators. Doesn't always fruit though, but hoping for the best this year, as always. This is a Shiro Asian plum. Same thing. 2 years ago, really heavy fruit set. Last year, not much at all. We had a really easy winter this year, so I think all the fruit buds made it through the winter. So far, we've had a great spring as well too. So things are looking good. Here we have the Burbank plum. It's been flowering for probably a week and a half. It's been cool lately. So these flowers are almost done. You can see they're a little bit browner. They're starting to, some of the petals are falling off. We didn't have the best weather during its peak bloom, so hopefully some of the pollinators were able to get out and do their thing in that cool weather. I've got a couple more here. The apples aren't fruiting yet. They're in pink bud stage. These are the shrub cherries. This is Juliet, and it's suckered throughout the rest of this garden bed here, so I think all of these shoots are Juliet. Here's the Liberty apple right beside me. It's one of the most progressed apples I have. As I said, it's in that pink bud stage. The Williams Pride is maybe a little bit further along. It might flower today or tomorrow. There's a couple pears on the far side here that are flowering too, so we'll go take a look at those. Lots of grape hyacinths are out underneath the grapevines. They look really pretty for a couple of weeks here in the spring. Lots of dandelions. This one's interesting. This is the clove currant. It smells really good. It's a strong, spicy type of sweet smell. The currants that it has, clove currants, are so-so, but it smells really great this time of year. These are the pear trees over here. This is Chijuro Asian pear. It's a very small tree, but I've probably had it for 5 years, and it always puts out a lot of fruits. Some of my other trees are fruit every other year, but this one fruits every year, and probably 30 to 40 pears. They're really good. Now, I probably should let this thing not fruit and grow for a couple years, get to be a bigger tree. But at 30 and 40 pairs a year consistently, that's kind of what I want. It's my new 4-in-1 Asian pear. I'm just trying to pull down all the different grafts on it. I think it has Nagaseki, Shinseko, and Hosui, if I recall. Yeah, here's the 2 plum trees. Sorry, pear trees. This is Harrow Delight, European plum. I keep saying that. European pear. Tons and tons of fruits this year, flowers this year. They're pretty flowers. They don't smell very good. And oh, this is the Bartlett pear. It doesn't have any flowers open yet, and it's just, you can tell it's not going to have many. There's only a couple clusters here. It's a little bit behind the Harrow Delight in development. So the last one I'll show is the European plum. This is green gauge. You can see it's got some flowers open now. They're being open for a couple days. It's not going to be fruiting especially heavy this year. I did quite a bit of pruning on this one this year. Some large branches taken out. It was getting a little bit crowded, so it's a very fast growing tree. It's the same age as that Mount Royal plum I showed earlier, and it's almost twice the size. Yeah, so that's a look at some of the spring flowers. The apricot tree out front, a Harlane apricot, is done flowering, and there's a Pembina plum out there as well, which is starting to be in petal drop as well too. And the apples should all start flowering in the next week or so. It's a great time of year. Lots of potential for heavy fruit sets this year. We'll just see what the insects and the bugs and the frost can do in the meantime. Okay, thanks.